really don't smile, they should smile all the time. I don't get it. I smile all the time. And if I'm not smiling, probably run. Rickety, 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 move. I smiled. Last one.
When in doubt.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
Hi, my name is Alisha Sturkie. I am a bodybuilder. I compete in the wellness division. I did start in physique and transition to figure, and eventually, because these glutes don't quit, went to wellness. And I do real estate investing as well and consulting for other businesses. As a child, very young, I'm the oldest of 4 in my family. We are athletic, and we were outside every day. We lived out in the country in Geneva. You guys know it's like wine country here, and just acres upon acres, and it was running and playing. Weightlifting started because I was a terrible child, 7th grade, because elementary gym ended. The boys no longer were there, and it was the worst. My poor gym teacher, which was also my ball coach, Mrs. Bilac, could not get me to get up and play anything. And I had the opportunity in 10th grade to skip gym by doing weightlifting. Of course I did. They had girls weightlifting, so I did that. And it would always fall during track season, unfortunately. So I remember doing leg press and loving it, and bench press. And I could outlift some of the guys on our football team. And the football coach would tell them. So I had some injuries by the end of my career, and liftings just stayed the entire time. It maintains my balance in my body. I saw a picture of either Andrea Brazier or Dana Lynn Bailey, and I think it was Andrea, and she does WBFF. She's retired, and I saw her, and I train, and she looked like me. I definitely am unique. I lift, I'm strong, I like to do tons of things. I was teaching probably boot camp at the time, and a CrossFit moderation. But when I saw her, I felt like I belonged somewhere, because what I saw from bodybuilding, in my mind, it was only women's bodybuilding. There wasn't anything else. And so seeing that, I was like, oh my gosh, I look like her. And that was 2013. I still remember, because it's actually this day, wow, Memorial Day, when I went to my family and I told them, oh my gosh, I'm going to do bodybuilding and get a boob job. Oh my God, they thought I lost my mind. They're like, oh my gosh, she's lost it, because I had gotten divorced like 2 years before that. And I did everything I said. I had surgery, no surgery, to correct an injury and the augmentation in December of 2013, and I did my first competition March of 2015, and they were there and crying, and they thought I was crazy. And it's hard. Definitely, I am a single Christian woman, and I remember crying to my pastor at the time, feeling like I was going to be shunned, pushed away, talked about. My daughter's going to a Christian school, and it's those things. But you had to get me on stage first, because I'm scared to death to get up there naked. I've been in a bikini clearly, but it was different. It was a preset that I knew that people were going to be watching me and how I live my life and the light that's coming out of me. As a Christian female, it's been a struggle, trying to find that balance of making sure that I'm not overly sexualized. I've never done a photo shoot because in my mind, people might take it the wrong way. Of course, I can post something and someone's going to say something because I can't control that. You know, I benchmark off of the people in my community, my friends and my family. And they have been nothing but supportive, which is the amazing part. Some people might have negativity. I have like almost full support, but I still had that background behind me. So doing, physique and figure I thought was hard. When I transitioned to wellness, I wasn't telling people I was competing. I was scared to death. It's definitely a different look, the rear stance. Like my dad saw the picture. He was like, oh my God, no. It's different. I've had people unfriend me. It's a challenge, and I'm still getting through that, and I'm getting better. But being who you are and standing true in that is what speaks the most to people. And that's what the sport needs, is authenticity. It's different because it's for the women that have a lower body dominance. I know myself and others, there's no way we're going to shave these legs down, all the cardio in the world. If I go to squat on the toilet, my legs are going to grow in my glutes. There just isn't a way. So when it came from Brazil, I had never even heard of it, and they started talking about it. I knew that's where I wanted to go. It was perfect, it was healthy for me. I could continue my life, I can eat way more than what I did before and train as heavy as I want in my lower half and not be penalized for that. It's definitely, you see women running towards it because it's a healthier way of living. It's probably one of the healthiest ones that I've done, because I've done almost everything except for bodybuilding and bikini. I definitely love the aesthetics. And it feels kind of weird to say that, but I love it, but I don't want anyone to see it, except for the people that are competing. One of the biggest things I've ever had to overcome in my life, self-love. It's There's so many stories that I could share, but everyone has something where they find it. And for me, I did not expect to find this sport, because I had already competed. It was 2015, I did my first 2 shows on my own, and I went to my coach, Adam Atkinson, from my friend Capri, and worked with him because I was going through that rough spot in 2018, because I tried to compete before with him and my knee wasn't functioning. But coming through 2018 in December, when I decided to compete, it was because I was probably at the lowest point I had really ever been at in my life since my divorce. I mean, I was screaming and crying, I hate my life, but because I ended up with vertigo, that basically disabled me from functioning and living, and it was tearing my daughter's world apart because I was even less functional. I do have a lot of health issues, but you wouldn't know. So when I decided to compete, it was actually to distance myself from a person that was constantly in my space, work and gym and everything else. And I knew they wouldn't do it, so I said, I'm gonna compete. And let me tell you, it didn't feel like anything. I was at the Lieberman show in the spring, and I got up on that stage after barely being allowed to do it because I needed a medical excuse to compete. And when I came off and saw my pictures from figure, my mom showed me from the years of neglect, abuse, cheating, hazing, bullying. I saw this woman that everyone else always saw. I never saw her before. And I didn't expect to get it from this silly sport in my mind. Like, I'm doing it because I'm doing it, because I have nothing else to do. I train ridiculous. All I have to do is, just focus on dieting. And my mom showed me these pictures she took. And I saw a woman that I love and I want to protect. And I actually saw the God in me, because there was such joy. And my daughter was there, and she was hugging me. And she was so proud, and my family was crying. And people were so happy, but it wasn't that. It was just, I saw me the way that others have seen me for so many years when they would say, you have potential. God, I hated that word potential. I hated you're so powerful, and I struggled with it. My training is 100% probably unorthodox in a way that someone would not want their athlete to train. And I have met other people that do this, but I've had to listen to my body since I was young. I had acid reflux at 10 to like age 20. I've had injuries, and I have to restore everything. So there's such a dysfunctional imbalance in my body that I have to go by what it says, not by what a coach says. And I have an amazing coach that works with me. I train 5 days, 6 days, sometimes 14 days in a row, but I'll back off. This prep was so much different because I want to compete in the Pro League this year, 2021, and actually make it to Olympia. In wellness, the first year I came in decent, a normal size for wellness, the Arnold Classic. And then COVID hit, stress hit, and everything else, and I ended up having another sinus infection, and my volume went down a lot. So my glutes were smaller compared to usual, my legs were smaller, my quads would still show, but standing next to the other girls, when they're looking at you, they're looking at your dimensions. So if you accidentally turn to the side and your leg isn't going to span out, and a girl turns at the same time and hers is bigger, they're gonna catch that and they're gonna want to move her in. So it's focusing on hamstring development, but you don't want too much striation. So making sure I'm doing long lengthening movements that aren't going to be bulky and cause a lot of striation, because you're not supposed to have any. Definitely quad dominance. I do a lot of isolated lunges underneath the Smith machine. I do Bulgarian split squats out of the ground-based squat from hammer strength. sissy squats, front squats, focusing now at this point even on doing the correct version of the leg press, so that way it really just hits my quads and not my quads and my hamstrings. So it's being focused because you need that width to carry over on the side when you are on stage and you're doing your rear stance, because without that, without your quads capping over the sides, you're going to look smaller. Not necessarily from the side, but from the rear you will, and they'll dock you there. You have to be able to pull that. My glutes, I actually don't have to train too much because they will end up always being larger than my legs. They are dominant, and it makes my legs look smaller. So I've had to find a way to taper that so that way there's more balance, but I would love to kick it up. They're like, there's no glutes that are too big, until you tell me my legs look small, and they're not. It's just my glutes are that big. So focusing on, for glutes, it's more of contracting and holding heavier weight. I don't do a lot of reps with anything. And I still do a lot of reps, they're just heavy, but nowhere near like hundreds, 200s. But the hip thruster, my love. I didn't even understand that was my butt lift from underneath. And a lot of people say negative things about that, but it's increased my squat, it's increased my leg press, it's taken away more of the back pain. It's amazing, and I wish I would have started it sooner versus like a year and a half ago. It's helped correct a lot of deficiencies. And even the abductor for my hip flexors, but you have to rub that out. It will mess up your IT band, your glutes, your back. So it's working around what my body looks like. So I see females, because I watch all of the pro shows right now, that are missing points, and you can point it out. But just as easily as I can do that for them, they can do that.
What do you see in your future? What would you like to accomplish?
Winning the Olympia is exactly what I want to do in my future. Isn't that always? As far as like after that, I do question, like if I do win, like would I want to come back and keep competing, or would I be like on to the next and do like strong women or powerlifting, which I am going to start competing in. I don't care what anyone says about my knee, but I do question, if I were to win, would I be thirsty or hungry enough to come back the next time, or would that just be enough? I like to do a lot of things when it comes to fitness. I can inline speed skate, I can do all of these other things, and the sport's great. I just hope that my body can continue to do what it does, so it's based on my body and also my mental state. I want to get to the Olympia stage. I want to win. Does it ever